Alright, welcome to this new video. In this video I will zoom into the top 3 books that I've gained the most knowledge from at a young age. I started reading books when I was 16-17 years old. I've read a lot of books which I will show you in a minute. Today I will share not only the basic and fundamental books, but these top 3 are the books that I've gained the most knowledge from, and I think that are not the typical books as Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad. They are not right over here. These books are more specific, are more hardly to find, and were very important for my personal growth so far. So let's not waste any more time and hop right into this video. Alright, before I show you my top 3 books, I will share my whole bookshelf with you guys because I've read a lot of books. I think probably this will be around 50. It's not many because I think from the age of 16 until I was 19 years old, I've read the most books in my life. So that will be 50 in 4 years. So I think just one book a month. You can literally buy a book like this one, Rich Dad Poor Dad. You can literally buy a book for 20 euros and read about the whole life experience of one person. And you have many people in the club spending way more than that, and they think 20 euros for a book or $20 for a book is too much. Then you need to shift your point, because books are very, very powerful. One of the best books, of course, is this one, the book myself when I was 19, I think. That was an ebook that I've printed physically as well, just for memory. It's in Dutch, so it's not available anymore. But yeah, it's great memory. I've read a lot of books, and right now I'm going to share my top 3 with you guys. Alright, so let's start. This book first is Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is a book that is about building habits, and this book is telling you about how habits can affect you and benefit you in the long run. Before I started reading this book, I already knew and understood that habits were very important for you as an entrepreneur. If you want to develop yourself, if you want to grow your company, habit and consistency is very important. I already thought I understood how habits work, but after somebody recommended me this book, I think I've learned a lot more about habits, because this book is going and diving more into the specific details of how to build habits, how they work, and how they can benefit you on the long run. For example, and I can show you right over here, in the beginning of the book tells you, and the author tells you, about how habits can grow with compound. If you strive for 1% growth each day, you will be 38 times better than you were before in 1 year. So in 1 year you can become 38 times better if you just grow 1% each day. And that's crazy, because you don't grow for 100%, you grow for 3,700%. So that's crazy. That's just the beginning of the book. They not only tell you how good habits work and benefit you, but they also tell you how bad habits work. How you're falling back in all of the patterns you built in the past few years, how you can make sure that bad habits go away, how you can replace bad habits with good habits. It's not only about good habits, it's about everything. So I think this is a very good book, not too big, not too long, and it's really, really good. You can see that I mark all of the important things, and when you see a lot of these green marks, you know that it's a good book. Alright, so the second one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. I don't want to manipulate people, and this book doesn't want it as well. Maybe the title sounds a little bit like that, it's a little bit cliche. But the author as well starts this book by saying that it doesn't work with quick wins and you cannot manipulate people. That's not the way that this book is meant to be. But this book is about the psychology behind the way people think, act. If you want to grow a team, if you're having a business where you need to interact with clients, if you have proposes, if you need to be good at sales, whatever it is, if you're interacting with people, I think this is one of the most important books that you need to read. As you see, it is not a very, very big book. It's very tiny. I think I've read this one in 4 days or so. Again, a lot of green marks, so a good book. Maybe I can in the future make a video about some sentence or quotes or whatever. If you want to see some of the quotes or things that I remember for myself, you can follow me on Twitter, because that's just my notebook. I don't have many followers on Twitter, I think 8 or so right now. But there I share quotes that are inspiring to me, or some tiny parts from books that I learn a lot from. But this is one hell of a book when it comes to leadership and growing people, making sure that people are motivated. How does it work when people think, when people are negative or positive? How can you act and deal with them? It's a very nice book. So I would really recommend this one in my top 3 as well. The last one, and I think this is one of the best and most original ones. I don't know, and I don't think that many people know this book. These 2 books, like How to Win Friends, Influence People, and Atomic Habits, are kind of popular books as well, but this one is very unique. This one is Outwitting the Devil, written by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is the author of Think and Grow Rich as well. Think and Grow Rich is one of the books that I think it was my first book. I think many entrepreneurs, many people that are starting with their personal development journey, etc., Think and Grow Rich is one of the first books you read. If you like that book, then this one is very good as well. The title might sound a little bit dark. It is a dark book because it doesn't focus on, like Think and Grow Rich does, it doesn't focus on the way of how positive thinking can affect you. But this one is zooming into how negative thoughts are, and negative emotions and fear, how that affects you, and how the devil is organizing and doing all of those things in this world, not only to you but also to the news, and how all of the negative and bad things in this world work. Of course, you need to look at it however you want to, but Napoleon Hill in this book is interviewing the devil. This is literally an interview. It's just, here you can see Q&A. It's literally, the whole book is about Q&A, question and answer. Napoleon Hill is asking questions to the devil, and he's asking like, why do people have fear? How are you manipulating people with negative thoughts? How does it work? And I think I've read this book when I was 18 years old or so. At that moment I already was building my personal development, but I still had a lot of bad habits as well, and things that I didn't understood, and negative thoughts or bad emotions or whatever. And I think this book really gave me a very good perspective on how that works, and how negative things can affect you in a very bad way. And if you're looking at nowadays, many people are not liking their job. The news is very negative. There's a lot of trouble going on in the world, and this book says that that's the work of the devil. It's really interesting to see how that goes, because I think you can escape from the devil, and from you can look and see the point of view however you want to, but I think you can really escape the negative side of the world after reading this book. So it's a very positive and good book. Here as well you can see a lot of marks. I really like to mark the most important things from a book, because this book is, for example, this one has around 300 pages, and I think not all of the pages are containing the golden nuggets. Like, I think a book is, if you're asking me like what did you learn about from this book or whatever, I think I can just explain it to you in 10 minutes. And this book, if you want to read it, it's literally like you have to read it for 1 week or so. So I try to mark all of the things that are most important to me, and then I tweet it, or I take a look at it from what I've gained from it. Maybe in the future I will make a video where I just read a few of these marked sentences. But for me it really helps, because by reading it once you will not understand it. If you read it and then mark it and after you marked it, once in a while you open up the book and remind yourself of what you have learned. I think that's one of the most important things if you want to read and really understand it. Besides of that, reading is very important if you want to become a good, successful entrepreneur or whatever. But the most important thing is that you put all of the knowledge that you can gain from a book, that you can put it into practice. Because if you don't do anything with that knowledge, you will never learn. You will never really achieve things in life. Reading a book is very good. I've learned many things from books in the past, but I've come to a stage right now that I have a lot of responsibility in the business, and reading a book normally, for example, a book like this, 300 pages, for me is 1 or 2 weeks. And that's too long to gain just a few knowledge from one book, you know. So nowadays I try to find people around me by sharing the knowledge in materials like this, in video format or in podcast or whatever. I think there's a lot of combinations you can do to really learn quick. But I think reading books is the basics of starting and just to gaining knowledge, etc. But the most important thing is that you put it into practice, because if you don't put it into practice, you will not reach or achieve anything. Alright, so this was a video for today, but before you leave this video, I want to say and want to show this graph. And this is a graph of my YouTube channel where and I don't remember it very well, but you can see it right here, but as I remember, I think more than 70% of all people, including you, are not subscribed to this channel yet. I don't earn anything from this. I have nothing to sell you. I'm just doing this as a hobby. I like to share my message. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, leave a comment or whatever, because the algorithm of YouTube will expand the message. I think this is the future: entrepreneurship, spreading message in a good way, gaining knowledge, helping each other. So thank you for that, and I will see you in the next video.